Sometimes a person's life begins like a movie, continues like a fairy tale, and ends like a tragedy. This is the story of Can Yaman. During his golden years, he gave us series and films that remain vivid in memory. Dolunay, Erken Kush, Mr. Wrong. He was not just a charming actor, but a story of dedication and talent that crossed borders, conquering Europe with book presentations and major projects like Sandakan, and winning the affection of millions in Turkey. But in the midst of so much success, something changed. The wrong person, Sarah Bluma, entered his life, and with her came a shadow that affected not only his heart, but also his career. People like that are rare, but their impact is devastating. They steal energy, dignity, and peace under the guise of help, when in reality, their goal is control and exploitation. In this case, love turned into control. First came promises of support and affection, then isolation from friends and family, and finally, a drift away from professional goals. It is the classic emotional manipulation, hard to recognize from the inside because it does not attack the body, but the mind and soul. Can may have started with the best intentions, but little by little, he shaped himself according to her will, without realizing he was losing freedom and essence. The hardest part is that he might not be fully aware of it. He lives thinking it's true love, when in reality these are invisible chains. And these chains only break when one says enough. Sarah, and those like her, can only control your life if you allow them to. Many fans feel disappointed. They didn't just love his acting, but also his character. They saw him as a role model, and now they watch as his own decisions lead to his downfall. Yet there is still hope. His talent, his past, and the people who love him are still there. The first step is to see the truth and have the courage to get out. One day, this story will be told as an example of overcoming if he recognizes that what he is living is not love, but manipulation. Those who admire him are still waiting for his return, because we know that the real Can Yaman is still there, beneath all this chaos. I believe Demet Özdemir's situation is very different from that of Can Yaman, although inevitably, their names remain linked by all they shared in the past. To me, Demet has always conveyed a unique energy, a combination of tenderness and determination that has allowed her to carve out her own space in an industry where it is easy to be typecast, or worse, be swept away by the fleeting nature of fame. And even though her career has also seen less favorable moments, what I value most is her ability to remain true to her principles, even when that means making decisions that not everyone approves of or understands. Many of the comments about Can, pointing out his apparent loss of direction or poor choices, inevitably make me think of Demet, because she has managed to avoid those same traps. It's not that her path has been easy, no one's is, but she has been able to adapt to changes without giving up her essence. She has stayed close to her family and lifelong friends, and that, in my opinion, has given her a solid emotional foundation. This connection with her closest circle has allowed her to maintain stability, something that is a real privilege in this business. Demet has shown many times that she knows how to say no when she feels it's necessary, even if that closes certain opportunities. This firmness is not always well received in the artistic environment, but it has allowed her to build an image consistent with her values. She is not a woman easily shaped by trends or by what others expect of her. And although that sometimes exposes her to criticism, it makes her more authentic and closer to those who follow her with admiration. Looking at her latest work, I see an actress who understands that her career is not limited to portraying television romances or repeating formulas that worked in the past. She is seeking deeper roles, layered characters, stories that allow her to grow professionally. And even if that means moving away from part of the audience that only wants to see her in light comedies, it reflects her artistic ambition and her desire to evolve. Not everyone dares to take that step because it means leaving the comfort zone and risking not maintaining the same level of immediate popularity. On a personal level, I believe Demet has managed media attention with uncommon intelligence. She knows when to remain silent, when to speak, and when to let things fade on their own. She has not been involved in destructive controversies, and when rumors have arisen, she rarely fuels them with impulsive responses. This self-control is one of her greatest strengths, as it allows her to protect her private life without losing her connection with fans. That is why, when I compare the recent paths of Yaman and Demet, I see two very different directions. He seems trapped in questionable decisions and relationships that bring more conflict than stability. She, on the other hand, continues moving forward with measured steps, sometimes slower, sometimes firmer, but always with a clear idea of where she is going. This course, though not without challenges, keeps her in a respected place in the entertainment world and in the hearts of those who value not only talent, but also coherence. It is true that, like anyone, Demet is not infallible and has made choices that can be debated. However, the difference is that these decisions seem to stem from reflection, not momentary impulses. She knows that an artist's career is not defined solely by fleeting fame, but by the ability to build something lasting, something that makes sense when looking back in 20 or 30 years. Ultimately, I believe Demet Özdemir is writing her story in her own style, guided more by her intuition than by outside noise. And even if this means giving up certain immediate benefits or facing criticism, time will be the fairest judge. In a world where so many lose their way, she continues to prove that it is possible to shine without burning out. And that, nowadays, is almost an act of courage.